If you follow me on other platforms, then you know that staking is an amazing way to earn some passive income with your cryptocurrency. So in today's video, we're going to cover staking, what it is, why it matters, the risks associated with it, how you can mitigate some of those risks, and of course, my favorite platforms to actually stake on. So if you're not already, before we get started, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, throw a like on there so we can spread this information around. All finance needs consensus. Consensus, in a really short, simple term, just means agreement. So this means in a bank, which is a centralized finance, we use a bank ledger, which is going to confirm, let's say, agree that account A has enough to send to account B. The transaction has already been done. It's not going to be done twice. All of those types of things. So we need agreement. Now, with cryptocurrency being a decentralized finance, we're not relying on a single bank ledger to make this agreement. So the consensus with cryptocurrency, there's different varieties, but we're going to focus on two of them right now. The first and original applied to Bitcoin is proof of work. And in very simple terms, proof of work has miners. These miners are paid an inflation percentage, and they are incentivized to finish first. So imagine that you had 10 miners running a race. The first miner to get to the finish line wins. Now, the problem with this is that the other 9 miners also ran, but they don't get any payment because they didn't finish first. So all of the energy used by the other 9 miners is wasted. So proof of work has a massive energy consumption and a lot of waste, as I said. And this leads us to proof of stake. So proof of stake has, instead of miners, they are called validators. And what this is you're going to have a couple different varieties of staking. So we'll start with master nodes. So if you're running a master node, then this means you hit the minimum quantity to hold that number of coins. So for example, REN, to run a node on REN, you need 100,000 REN. Other coins also have master nodes, which obviously have massive capital requirements. And the way this works, again, is you're running a node, and every time that you have a consensus sent to you, you have to agree on that transaction. Again, the master node is paid an inflation percentage. Now, the other way of staking, which is what I want to talk to you about today, is referred to as a staking pool. So the way this works, instead of needing, let's say, 100,000 REN on a different project, you could pool together with other people to form the requirements of this node. And then, of course, you would be paid the inflation percentage associated with the amount that you put in. So Cake is an example of this. So for example, on the Binance Smart Chain, on their decentralized app, which is Pancake Swap, you can join their syrup pools. And this again is of course staking in a pool where you get a percentage of that value. So in very short, simple terms, staking means investing your coins to gain percentage on them. And a third variety of staking is referred to as a privacy feature. We see this on Dash, and Dash is actually a proof of work concept using miners, except they have a privacy piece. And remember that proof of work, for example, Bitcoin, if I send my Bitcoin from wallet A to wallet B, everyone in the world who has access to the internet is going to be able to see that transaction and see that I sent it from wallet A to wallet B. Whereas projects like Dash, with their privacy feature, wallet A would actually be sent into a pool, and then wallet B could come and scoop up from the pool in order to take their transaction. So looking at that transaction, you're not going to be able to tell who A was sending to and where B was picking up from, because it's just sent into a pool, and that pool is then taken out. So a couple other things to keep in mind with your stake is it's going to be presented as an APY, and then understand also that the lower the APY, the lower the risk. So that's not always necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, we do want to look for higher yields because that means you'll make more, but it's important to understand that the higher the yield, the higher the risk. Piece number 2 to keep in mind is yield and total return. So the yield is going to be what you can assume and estimate to make based off of your investment. So let's say that you are investing $100 of Cake into the Cake pool at 106% APY. So your yield is going to be what you can anticipate to make, that 106%, but total return is also going to account the coins that you actually put into the pool. So it's important to understand that staking, those coins are still volatile with the market. So let's say you made 100% APY stake rewards, but then the value of stake that you were holding in the pool went down 100%. Then you've made nothing, you've lost money. So yield and return is actually going to be the capital return on their investment plus the staking rewards. And the last piece to keep in mind is that some staking is locked. Now, this could be 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, could be 72 hours. And possibly it is flexible, which means you can take it out right away, but you would receive a small penalty on that. So it's just important to keep in mind that this, again, is generally something that you want to keep as a long-term project. And you wouldn't necessarily go and stake something that you had no intention and no hope or prospect of holding on to this project. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it, and I'll show you some of my favorite projects, and we'll talk more about the risk. All right, so before I show you the various projects and places that I like to stake, it's important to understand a couple things revolving risk. So we already covered it a little bit, which again is remembering that if you are locked in, then the risk that you're associating yourself to is market risk. So let's say you're locked in for 60 days into a stake, but the market starts to tank. You would not be able to pull out your stake in order to sell. So remember, even though you're staking it and it might be locked away from you, it is still going to fluctuate with the market. The other level of risk that is associated is a level of scam or hack, unfortunately. So one thing I like to do is diversify across multiple wallets and across multiple platforms. This is going to be a great way that if something were to happen, then it's going to be limited to one portion of your portfolio instead of a massive thing. So I know a lot of people, myself included, like to assume that these types of things don't happen to us, but unfortunately it just can. So just take that into consideration as you're looking around, and you're actually going to see that most likely actually diversifying across different platforms is going to be able to find you the highest yields, because I've yet to find something that has the highest yield on every single coin that I'm interested in, all in one place. So first I have us up on Binance.com on the Binance Earn. Now understand that if you're in the US like myself, we probably use Binance.us. But Binance.us is a little bit more limited. So I did want to show you, for those of you outside of the US, the possibilities of Binance. So again, we can see different variables here. This Ethereum 2.0, anywhere between 4.9 to 21.6% APY. Something that's nice about this is that because you're staking Ethereum 2.0 on a centralized exchange, you can stake a limited quantity. Whereas if you are staking Ethereum 2.0 by yourself, then you actually need 32 in order just to participate in the stake. So this is a really nice way to get a piece of that without having to put in 32 Ethereum. And just a little note here, it says the APY is adjusted daily based on the on-chain staking rewards. So that's another thing to understand. These are not fixed rewards, okay? So these are going to fluctuate. So another nice one here, BNB staking at 9.21% at the time of this video. We can even see a flexible savings on USDT. Now, staking a stablecoin is really interesting because the price is locked at $1, but you can still earn some really nice interest on it. So I'm not saying by any means to go and pull out your retirement savings and throw it into a stablecoin, but this APY is much higher than what you're going to find in an average savings account. Then if we scroll down, or actually let's look right here. So this is pretty cool, liquid swap. So this is something kind of needs its whole video of its own, but this is a liquidity pool between Matic and USDT for 45%. Matic is a project that I love and hold, and USDT is a stable coin. Now, obviously Tether has kind of its own history behind it. Some people think much less of it. It's not my favorite. My go-to is DAI. Important to understand, and again, this requires a whole video of its own, but a liquidity pool, which is what this is, you're actually putting equal portions of USDT and equal portions of Matic. It's important to understand that both assets in that liquidity pool are going to fluctuate together. And so let's say that this wasn't USDT, but let's say it was Ethereum. So two volatile assets. If Matic was to grow, but Ethereum did not grow, then you're not going to reap the full benefits of Matic's growth because it needs to keep them equal. So just keep that in mind. Again, something for a different video entirely. But we can see down here, USDT DeFi staking on Binance, 6.79%. That's better than inflation. So you would actually be beating inflation and adding some APY if you staked this stable coin. And growing down here a little bit more, we can see that we have locked staking. So let's look at that. So this locked staking, here we go. So this is where you can pick your duration. So 30, 60, 90. Pay attention to the APY as I click through to the different options. So let's just look at NJ for 3.67% at 30 days, 4.12 at 60, and 5.62 at 90 days. So your percentage rate is actually going to fluctuate depending on how long you're willing to lock something up, which makes sense, right? Because you're taking on much more market risk. They're going to compensate you according to that risk. Now, if you find something where the 30-day is actually higher than the 90-day, that means that for whatever reason, that asset is really looking to add liquidity in the short term. Up next, we're going to look at KuKoin. So KuKoin is another great exchange. I want to say it's in the top 5 exchanges by size and volume. So over here under finance at PoolX Earn, DOT 5.27%. And we can just take a look here, all these different options. So important to understand this time is referred to its locking period. So some of these are a 5-day, 3-day. And this other cool thing here that we don't see on many other exchanges is the quota. Now the quota is going to be when that staking pool is going to stop. Again, they've hit their quota. They got what they needed to out of the liquidity of that portion, and it's done. Up next, we're going to take a look at Kraken. Now Kraken is my main go-to large exchange. I just really like the mobile app. Now, truthfully, the desktop app does seem a little bit outdated in its features, but nonetheless, I really love the mobile app. It's very easy to use. So we're going to go over here to features staking, and we can take a look at some of the options here. So here we have Polkadot for 12%. So if we go back over here at KuCoin's PoolX, we see that DOT is 5.27%. So that's why I talk about how it actually works out naturally for you to diversify your portfolio across different platforms, because you're going to find better rates across different platforms anyways, and you'll be keeping them safer. So, but we have Polkadot at 12%, Cardano between 4 to 6%, Solana 6.5%, Ethereum 5 to 7%. So next, this brings us up to our second variety and location of staking, which is going to be kind of like a lending platform. So BlockFi is a great service for this. So the first piece I want to show you on BlockFi is referred to as their BlockFi interest account, also known as a BIA. And it says your cryptocurrency can earn up to 7.5% APY. Interest accrues daily, paid monthly, no hidden fees, no minimum balances, no reason to wait. So we can come over here. Let's say we wanted to do Ethereum. And let's say I only wanted to see how much I would earn over 5 years. Okay. Let's say I staked 2 Ethereum. I can estimate to make $170 per year for a total over the 5 years of $852. Now, obviously, the more that you the more that you hold at that given time period is going to be that much higher. So let's say I had 10. That would be $587 per year. Again, obviously, we can check some of these different projects that they have. Bitcoin, again, if I had, I don't have 10 Bitcoin. Let's say I had a quarter of a Bitcoin, wanted to hold it for 5 years, it'd be $346 a year, or $1,700 estimated over the 5 years. I should also mention that with these BIA accounts, the BlockFi is actually going to be lending out your those pieces of your portfolio. We can see here, depending on how much of this asset you are holding, is the APY that's going to be associated with that. Up next comes Celsius, and Celsius is going to be another lending platform. So let's go ahead and take a look at their rates. It says earn up to 17%, get paid weekly. So we can see over here the various different projects that you can lend. So if you were to lend up to 1 whole Bitcoin, then you would get 6.2%. Ethereum, if you were lending up to 100, and this would be 5.6%. Matic at a pretty healthy 10.5%. DOT 8.6%. You guys get the idea. Obviously, you can see. So understand that this is a great passive income source, similar to staking. Technically, what's being done with your money is a little bit different, but from an investor standpoint, again, it's a long-term way to invest money and earn interest on it. All right, so up next, we can stake on a decentralized platform. So with a decentralized platform, you're going to need a wallet and the platform. Whereas on these centralized exchanges, just as Binance, your wallet was actually in this account. So on something like Pancake Swap, you're going to use something different. I use either MetaMask or Trust Wallet. Usually there's also Exodus, which is a great software wallet. So for example, with this, you can see this connect button up here on the top. I would actually click this and choose how I wanted to connect. So if I was using Trust Wallet, they recently changed it. I actually have to hit Wallet Connect, and then it brings up this QR code. And then I go to my phone, I bring up my Trust Wallet app, and over on the settings page, it actually says Wallet Connect right in here. And then I click that, pulls up my camera. So I scan the QR code. It verifies that I'm trying to connect to Pancake Swap. Connect. And then there I have it attached. And then so to actually stake on Pancake Swap, it's referred to as pool. So one thing to keep in mind is these decentralized platforms love their different branding. So they might call them slightly different things. But again, it's staking. You're joining into a pool in which you're earning an interest percentage based on what you have just staked. Okay, so I actually have some staked cake on here that I'm going to show you. This is one of my smaller stakes that I have. So I figured it'd be a good one to show. So over here, you can see it says staked on the auto cake. I'm receiving 95.5% APY. So to put this into perspective, I added about $350 worth of cake about 6 weeks ago or so. And so you can see here that I have earned, I now have a total of 504, and my recent profit, which is referred to as the last time I checked this. So, which was just a couple of days ago, if I remember correctly, I've earned almost $23 since then. So if I wanted to add more, let's say that I had bought more cake and it was waiting in my Trust wallet. My wallet's connected right now, so it sees that. If I had bought more, then I would be able to add it to my stake right now. So if I'm buying cake and putting it on my Trust wallet, it's not being staked until I manually stake it. That's a look at a decentralized staking platform. And last but not least is a concept referred to as cold staking. So this here is for Ledger, which is my hardware wallet of choice. There's also Trezor, obviously some other options. If you haven't seen my video already on how to use a cryptocurrency hardware wallet, I'm going to link it somewhere in here so that you can check it out. And so, yes, you can actually stake some projects on Ledger safely inside your wallet. So this currently is the list of projects that you can stake with Ledger. And these are going to vary, and depending on which hardware wallet you use, they're all going to be different. All right, everybody. So I hope that helps. Understand that what I was showing you is according to time of this video. So you might go run and check these, and these rates are going to be different. I hope next time that you hear about staking, you have a better idea about what it is, how to use it, why you should use it, and understand the risks a little bit better. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.